So this is the KIM-100 that I've been playing around with recently. As you can see, it's a custom enclosure, sort of modelled on a 19-inch rack with its little tabs there. It did have some screws holding it on, but I've taken those off for the time being. And you can see with a nice, smoked cover, makes it rather slick looking when it's on the bench and you're using it. But I thought I'd open it up and show you. Just see there's a hole for the power switch there. The KIM is behind here and you can access the keypad. And this here turns the KIM between operator pad and LED display versus TTY for serial control, which is just sort of an added switch on the front panel here, which seems to be a bit of an afterthought because it's just sticking right at the front there. But anyway, so you can see it's just down there like that. Anyway, there's a KIM, and this appears to be one where the last chip dates are from about April 1976. So considering it went on sale, I think in June, this could be one of a few release models, or initially one of the first batch at least. Usually they have 3 white chips, is what I've seen from some other people, but I'm not entirely sure. I think this Riot chip was replaced. Looking at the solder, actually, yeah, that was replaced. But the date code on this one, I believe, probably hard to see on the camera, but it's to 1978, so it didn't take, it wasn't long before that needed replacement. They stuck a label with some reminders of addresses that you need to fill for tape dumping or reading, program numbers, stuff like that. So a bit of a shortcut. This switch has been carved into it, and I wonder if perhaps before the front cover was made, if this switch here might have actually been wired up here, because there's nothing wired to the back of that. Quite possibly to switch between TTY and front panel access. So there we go. Right, so as you can see, I'm going to a bit more light, a rather garish work light, but that might help. I don't know. Let's see. Bring that down a bit. Does it help? I'm not sure. Anyway, so if you take a look inside there, you can see that the KIM interfaces to a board there that's custom made, and that is what interfaces it to the S100 backplane. That's a Vector 8803 sort of off-the-shelf backplane and cage. So rather than the KIM-Z interfaces to the backplane board itself, whereas this one, the guy chose to design an S100 card to interface to the bus. It also carries extra, it's got additional, this is a printer port output there, so there's print address buffers there, and then you see the K numbers. Those are ROM sockets, so there's a 2708 ROM sockets for 1K ROMs in, I think, from the addresses 400 upwards. So I've yet to try those out, but they probably work. Everything else on this thing, apart from the obligatory exploding capacitors, which happened sort of 3 times already. This is a what looks to be maybe an unfinished RAM card. The pinout of those empty sockets there definitely are for 4116 RAM, so it's a DRAM 8K RAM card. Not sure if it was entirely finished, and I don't have any drawings for this one, but I do have full drawings for the S100 interface card. So I haven't tried this one out yet, and right now I've just got it sitting inside the computer and it's not doing anything. Because what you'll see on this side is this here is a standard Godbout Econoram II card, which is your standard 8K RAM card using 2102 RAMs. And then next to it is the Xitex SCT-100 video terminal card, which has the edge connector connected to the serial, because it's basically a serial terminal and all it uses on the S100 bus is the power. So it has its own video output, and the video output does go to a box at the back. See that silver box? That's a Pixiverter, which was popular in homebrew computer circles for taking a composite video signal, which is what's coming out of the video card here. And it's a very crude RF generator for NTSC. I've disconnected it from that, and I'm tapping the composite video straight out because I'm running it on, you know, on a little CRT monitor here. And the final card here is an S100 bus card extender with built-in logic probe, which there. So that's Bob Mullin, good old Bob. So it's sort of an active S100 card extender for working on stuff, which was obviously very useful when troubleshooting and developing the cards that are in this. So I just have that one sitting in the last slot there, not plugged in, same as this one, not plugged in. But yeah, so an awful lot of care went into building this entire rig. Pretty amazing, but the original RAM still works okay, and so does the Econoram RAM board. From what I've tested so far, I can read and write addresses in those blocks. Everything seems to be okay. I haven't quite got... so I've got a bunch of tapes with it, of course. And so, for example, here's a classic... well, so there you go. There's the memory test. That's what I was playing around with earlier. This is the only one I can get to load right now. All the other tapes don't want to load. So I'm not sure. So this has a PLL adjustment here. It might need adjusting, but I can record and play back onto my laptop successfully with programs that I've entered. So I don't think there's an actual problem with the recording circuitry on this, with the tape interface circuitry on this. But right now, it would be nice to get the bunch of tapes that I do have, which are in here. See there's microchess, some keyboard games, text editor, Tiny Pilot, whatever that is. So there's some very purposeful programs on this, all very nicely labeled and everything like that, but I haven't managed to get them running yet. But everything else on the system does work, so I'll do a demo.